Alright, folks, so I'm honestly pretty darn tired of having to not be as real as I really am. I mean, being that I use the internet to spread a message, it's pretty dangerous to just be yourself and say it as it is sometimes. You're always going to upset someone, and someone is always going to have something negative to say in response. It sucks, but that's just how people are, unfortunately. The whole reason I'm saying that is because this video is probably going to ruffle some feathers. I wish that wasn't the case, but in my experience in the past, it's just how things tend to work out. So, I guess I'll just jump right to the point. I feel that we as believers and gardeners need to open our eyes a bit wider and understand that nowhere in nature is something going to remove a whole plant once it grows past the point of usefulness. Nowhere in nature are plants growing in straight rows and with little to no weeds in it amongst them. And nowhere in nature are there just plain wood chips or whatever kind of ground cover you like to use. The back to Eden method, in my opinion, utilizes one of the most important tools that lies amongst the many tools that God created for nature to sustain itself and thrive. However, without the use of the other tools, the job can't be done the way it was designed to be. Being that some gardeners like Paul and myself are just too orderly to give in to the full-on permaculture, plant here, plant there kind of thing, we need to understand that we can't just use one of the many tools and still expect nature to step in and work with us. If that's the case and we don't start using them, we'll soon notice problems arise and nature will seem to be working against us rather than for us or with us. If we want to remove the plants we grow, once we're done with them, we need to make sure that we give back to the soil more than we took. It does require work, but it's still by far easier than tilling and killing the soil regularly, enslaving to a garden that nature is trying to take back and correct. These tools that I'm referring to might be small, but play a far bigger role in the success and overall health of a natural environment. They're the microbes, the fungi and bacteria, the nematodes and earthworms, the nitrogen-fixing root nodules, and the biodynamic accumulators, and of course, a good healthy covering. In reality, the list goes on, but for now, those few tools that God created for both you and I and the soil will make a huge difference in your garden if you choose to work with them. I know I've said in the past that I'm all about not overcomplicating things and that I want people to understand just how simple it can be. But at the same time, if I see a problem, I'm going to get to the root of the problem and I'm going to try and fix it. And if that means I have to understand the microbiology of the soil to fix something in the garden, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to make a point to do my part. Anyways, here in Paul's garden, some plants are showing signs of dehydration and even nutrient deficiency, as they're getting attacked by aphids and other insect deputies in God's garden police force, as Paul likes to call them. Now, the soil Paul has built up over the last 40 years is without a doubt incredible, and there are plenty of nutrients, elements, and food in general for the plants in the soil he's worked on. It's just that every plant is different and requires different ways of taking in these nutrients and utilizing them to produce a healthy crop. That's where the microbiology, or God's garden tools, comes into play, as they're the ones that break down and deliver those nutrients and elements to the plants. I've been making biological compost tea and spreading it over the garden bi-weekly to inoculate the soil with a much larger diversity of beneficial life. Over time, once they get themselves established, the plants will start showing signs of better health, and they'll be the proof that shows that the more diversity in the soil, the healthier the soil becomes, which means the soil will be able to raise and sustain a much healthier plant. That just means your garden's going to do a lot better. So, now I'll work on a video showing exactly what I do to make my biological compost tea. You'll just have to be a little patient with me, because like I've mentioned in other videos and even in live streams, I don't really like computers. I don't like technology. And it just takes a while for me to get things done when it involves that stuff. So yeah. Oh, and one last thing. Sorry for all the craziness with missing all the live streams. Yeah, I've honestly been a little discouraged by social media lately and needed to kind of take a step back. So I kind of took on more than I could handle at the time. Not sure when the next live stream will be, but if you're following me on Instagram at Growing Back to Eden, I'll be sure to announce it there and make sure it's at least a day or two in advance so you can plan on some questions to pop in and ask us. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped some of you, or at least opened your eyes a little bit more to see things in a different perspective. So until next time, happy gardening.